My family has experienced a lot of grief. I have 4 children, and when I was 32, my first husband passed away of an illness. And one of my children was born with severe disabilities. So 10 years later, Heather, my daughter, passed away when she was 20 years old. 3 years after that, my 22-year-old son, Trevor, passed away very suddenly, very unexpectedly. That was caused by a bacteria. So being in the emergency room for the 3rd time and having him code in front of us was something I can't describe in words. It was so devastating to our family.
I feel like grief has been with me since I was 12 years old. When my father passed away, it piled on top of each other each time it happened. I went through many periods of depression, anxiety, drugs and alcohol. When my brother passed away, I literally felt like something broke inside me. I was very hopeless and very alone and isolated, even from my own family.
My son Nathan was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and unfortunately 13 months later he passed away. I have 3 other children and my husband and I, and we wanted to do everything we could as parents to help our children through the loss. And my husband and I, we wanted to be sure that we were in a position to help them do that. I didn't want my children to say my mom was never the same after my brother died. And so, sort of in desperation to make life as normal as possible, we really needed the help of CARA.
CARA as an organization is a place where people come when their life has been shattered and they don't have a sense of the world. And it's because someone significant in their life has died. Or perhaps they themselves have just been diagnosed with a life-threatening illness, or someone in their family or someone they know. When people come to CARA, they actually have the opportunity to mourn. And to mourn is actually to have someone bear witness, to actually have your thoughts and feelings expressed, put out. And that, we know, is actually a very healing experience.
When I first came to CARA, I started in a grief support group, and being with other parents who have lost an adult child was so extremely helpful to me. They could understand like no one else could how I was feeling, and they would listen to me. It was okay for me to cry. They made me feel that what I was going through was normal, to be grieving the way that I was grieving, and I didn't feel alone.
When you talk to somebody who is not dealing with grief or hasn't dealt with grief, I think the initial, and especially somebody who cares about you, the initial reaction is to fix what's wrong. And so when you're in group counseling, it's not so much like that. It's more, I know how that feels, I've been through that, you know, a lot of empathy. And then you get to do the same thing. You get to share your empathy and comfort somebody, but still allow them to feel the way they're feeling.
When my kids came to CARA, they were broken into 2 different groups according to age. It was just a really great experience for them to express their feelings and emotions. And my husband and I participated along with other parents who had experienced the loss of a child. And I consider that a sacred experience. It was a time when we came and we were respected for how we felt. And it was a time when I truly felt that I was heard.
Coming to CARA has helped me learn to live with what has happened, live with my grief, learning to take care of myself, being able to talk about it made me a little stronger, little by little, step by step, to the point where I can really say at this point that I will survive this.
The changes I've seen in myself since I came to CARA are vast. I found the ability to get through most days without depression, anxiety. The one-on-one counselor I saw was very supportive of me getting clean and sober, and helped enable me to do that. the relief, or just like the weight that feels lifted when you finally found somebody that you can connect with and feel comfortable talking to, is enormous. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's kind of just cleared the path and allowed me to continue moving forward.
Our son's school was very fortunate to also receive services from CARA. So on the day that our son died, the counselors came out to the school. The students who were grieving came and were able to express their emotions. They were able to write cards to the family, and they were able to express their grief. And so it was a really meaningful experience for the entire school.
If CARA didn't exist, people would not have the opportunity to heal in a way that allows them to find their hope and meaning. To come to a space that feels safe and sacred and express sometimes the unspeakable. To be able to share the depths of their feelings and emotions that may not have a place outside with friends and families. And when you can actually get to that place, there is a sense of relief and power. So without CARA, there isn't a place where people can go to sit and explore those dimensions of their self.
I don't know how I would have walked through this journey if CARA wasn't here. I am able to look back on the good things that have happened and not feel like my whole life is a tragedy, because I know it's not. I've had some real blessings in my life. And so I'm able to look back and remember some of the good things and put my energy into some things that help remember Trevor and Heather, my children. So I'm just healthier.
I am so thankful for CARA and for the services that it has provided for my family. Because I have had tools to work with to deal with the grief, that I've been able to have a healthy relationship with the other members of my family, and that my children are able to move on with their lives and have healthy lives at this point. It's just helped us to put the pieces together and sort of pick up everything and go on with our lives.
I have an enormous amount of gratitude for CARA. The place where I was before I started coming to CARA and the place I am now is so different. For the most part, I'm happy. It's still the same past and still the same life, I guess. But my perspective has changed. You know, I've kind of mended a lot of relationships and spent a lot of time with my family and enjoy that time, whereas before it was very much a painful reminder. And now it's much more of a bright spot in my life.